you and your partner will have a greater chance of being happy and maintaining that happiness over time when you both understand the concept that I'm about to tell you that many of you have heard before. I'm going to start with the lighter version of this concept. Of course, you've heard of generational curses, right? Some families are so crazy, be like, what is going on? This person's on crack, and this person died of AIDS, and this person got hit by a truck, and that person drowned, and this person is in jail, and this person, what's going on with this family, right? And they say, well, they must have a generational curse. Do they have a generational curse? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so right there, if you're dating somebody, does their family have all of this drama going on? And if so, is he or she immune to that drama, or have they been affected by that drama and will now bring it into your family? You have to ask questions, and you have to discern this, have discernment, as they say, right? You have to be careful before you jump emotionally, sexually, and everything else into these relationships. You moving too fast. Slow down, right? So, generational curses, similar to generational trauma. And then what you have to understand as an individual, you both have to understand as a couple, and family has to understand, community has to understand, is post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Shout out to Dr. Joy DeGroy, all right? So, post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Being oppressed for over 400 years, generation after generation of fear, of bad food, of drugs, of just being whipped and being discriminated against. And in America, we are made the poster child for all things bad. Although when we succeed, they clap and like us, right? And when we know that things are not equal all the time, and there's no excuses. This is not an excuse, because if you apply yourself and understand post-traumatic slavery syndrome, then you will understand how to move to success. But if you want to just disregard it, then you're not going to understand when somebody's acting crazy. Because trauma, trauma, when you see somebody acting crazy, they traumatized, right? Why are they acting like that? And it comes from history. If you deal with psychology, they always look at your history, right? You go back, like when my mother did this to me, when my father did that to me, when my brother did this to me, when my sister did that, when my boss did this. You're looking back at something that affected you and made you react now in an emotional manner, and it was painful. Now, how do you deal with that pain? Do you take it out on your lover? This is where we're going. Do you take it out on your lover, your partner, your family? How do you deal with that? Do you have ways of dealing with that? So as a couple, we have to have ways of dealing with stress, ways of communicating, ways of being honest, truthful, and transparent. If you can be honest, truthful, and transparent, you have a better chance of being successful as a couple than if you want to act like trauma doesn't exist and generational trauma doesn't exist. But once you understand this, then you both know, like Houdini said, it's me and you one-on-one against the world. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a plan that will circumvent the inequities that we face with and the obstacles that we're faced with on a daily basis. And then you can start to renew your minds and create your own reality. So, post-traumatic slavery syndrome, and that was coined by Dr. Joy DeGroy. If you look her up, you get more in-depth information on that. Okay, but it's very important. It has helped me in my relationships. Anytime you understand white supremacy racism, anytime you understand that as a couple, that's going to help both of you guys. But not to make excuses, but to say, this is how they're acting, this is how we must react, or this is how we must act in terms of creating something, protecting something, making moves, right? So that we will not fall into the traps that are set by the oppressors, okay? And I say this because I never want us to use an excuse at this day and time, because if we understood this as a people, we would have a stronger community and our problems would be less if we work together in groups instead of tearing each other down. But it's going to start with the one person, and that's you. And then it's going to start with the unit, which is you and your partner, right? And then the family, your children and your family, if they understand what's going on and you create a plan to circumvent it, you have a higher opportunity of survival and success and prosperity and abundance, okay? So make sure you understand this concept and you talk about it and you read about it and you study it, because else you're just playing games if you're just running and not understanding when something goes down why somebody's acting like this all of a sudden. Because did you really have a heartfelt, tear-jerking, if necessary, conversation with your man or your woman about what they have went through? Abuse, right? And this ain't going back to slavery. I'm saying it's because it might have been learned in slavery or whatever, or might be a reaction to it and oppression and Jim Crow segregation. But what I'm saying is now that the person has trauma, right? It could be from jail, could be from the psychic ward, it could be from whatever. But now that the person has this trauma, y'all gotta talk about it, or else it's gonna come up and affect you. When they do something weird with your children, right? Because people are taking children, people are leaving children on doorsteps, people are keeping children burning in cars, you know what I'm saying? They're selling their children. Who's doing this? Your wife is doing this? Your husband's doing this? You didn't know that they had an issue? You see what I'm saying? Everything's peachy keen, rosy, beautiful in the beginning. But if you ain't really know that person, I didn't know he was going to do that. I can't believe it. You didn't do your due diligence. You didn't talk. You didn't communicate. You keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Keep it real. One-on-one with each other. Keep it real. Okay? All right. Like, share, and subscribe. Kamal Imani at Sirius Relationships on YouTube. Peace. Comment. 1.